Over the last couple of weeks, I've been watching with great bemusement as millions of leftists have been abandoning Twitter or X and fleeing to Bluesky, their new platform where they don't have to hear from the likes of us extremists. Yeah, they've created this new Twitter replica site. When I say they, it's apparently former Twitter staff who've created this platform. Bluesky, or BS. Yeah, BS. Is this a joke? Is it like a joke being played on them? But yeah, that's what it's called, BS. So yeah, this is, I'm in Hanover Square right now, in central London, kind of behind the, behind Piccadilly, behind Oxford Circus. So yeah, as I was saying, millions of people have decided to flee Twitter or X so that they can have their own safe space. That's the word, that's the term they like to use, isn't it? A safe space where they don't have to hear from the likes of me and possibly you, anybody who challenges their thinking. So it's basically a huge echo chamber. But one of the unique features of Bluesky, or BS, which I'd love to talk about because it's unlike anything I've seen before, is their blocking feature, or features, because this is something that is central to their platform, and I think it's a very important part of the way their users think, that anything that is in disagreement, challenge, debate, parody, or any sort of hurty words, you know, anything that triggers or makes them feel unsafe is unwelcome on the platform, and users can create block lists of all the people they deem to be a risk to their safety, or the people who might potentially offend others. And you can subscribe to other people's block lists. Yeah, you can actually let somebody else determine for you, another Bluesky user, all the people who you should not listen to and should not even see their content at all. These people obviously were not raised with that nursery rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Because they are so terrified of hurty words that they will sooner block anybody who could potentially hurt them, even before they've even said anything, than risk being offended. But as I was saying, given that BS is already a leftist echo chamber, this blocking feature makes it even more so, because there is no tolerance of anything considered right-wing or possibly even centrist. And I think that's going to create for a very interesting climate going forwards, as more and more people silo themselves from opposing views in this way. The left is just going to get more and more entrenched in their thinking, and you could argue the same will happen with the right, because we won't be hearing from them either. Well, we'll still be bombarded by liberal mainstream media, I suppose, so we'll still get the official roundup of their views. But what does it mean for the future of the world? I've been thinking for quite some time that we live in two parallel dimensions right now. There are two parallel realities, depending on whether you're politically left or right. And I, as a free thinker, as a centrist who's not aligned to either, I've always tried to follow both sides of any issue and listen to leading voices on both sides, and just average people on both sides. And that's the only way I think you can form a fair judgment of anything that's happening. But yeah, I think that's at risk now, as people go deeper and deeper into their silos. But in a way, that's going to be kind of a relief for a lot of people too, because it's not only the left who feel bullied by far-right extremists, but me, us lot, I got real fed up of being called awful names by far-left woke activists for expressing fairly centrist, innocuous views about all sorts of things. Anything that didn't align with their extremist ideology. Because I post a lot on TikTok and I've got 94,000 followers on there, I have quite a big reach, and when you have numbers, people feel like they can attack you because you're sort of like in the public eye. You're putting yourself out there for criticism. So I've had thousands of hateful comments under individual posts. But yeah, what do you guys think about Bluesky? On the one hand, as I said, I think it's awful that people are going to get more entrenched in their views and less open to debate, which I think is essential for any progress on any issue requires debate. And surely the whole point of being an activist is to change people's minds, to have engaging conversations with people where you can influence their thinking. If you're trying to wake them up from whatever sort of ideological brainwashing that they might have on either side, it needs discussion, and we need to find common ground. We need to find compromise. I mean, that is how society has always worked, right? So yeah, I think it's a terrible thing in that respect, but it is a relief, because I found that last year I was spending a lot of time defending myself from hateful accusations in my comments, because I didn't like to just let them rest and spiral out of control. But eventually I learned to step back and not care anymore. But a lot of people won't be able to do that because they feel that their character is under attack publicly and that they need to defend themselves. And that's a horrible position to be in. It's so bad for your consciousness, for your psyche, to have to be always arguing with people, especially people who don't know you and don't even want to know you and haven't spent any time trying to get to know you, but just want to attack you because it's almost like a sport. They enjoy attacking people. And so that is a very unhealthy thing for people on either side. And so I suppose you could say that we're going to have a welcome relief from that. And I've already been seeing it. In fact, I've seen it over the last year that I've been getting less and less of this type of hate. And perhaps it's the algorithm learning who my audience is and only showing my content to people who agree with me and not those who are going to attack me, which, yes, it's been a relief for me, but at the same time, it's how does it help to progress anything if you're only being heard by people who agree with you? Yeah, it's a difficult one. So we are now at Piccadilly Circus, and I have to say I so love London at this time of day. Twilight in London, it's so beautiful. Who remembers back in the 80s that film American Werewolf in London, where I think it was somewhere around here, where Boots is the pharmacist. And if you haven't seen it already, do watch my video I posted yesterday about the Boots Christmas ad and the controversy that's caused, the diversity controversy it's caused among conservative customers who have decided to boycott Boots over this ad. Yeah, I think it was either here or on that next block over there, where that seedy little cinema where the werewolf attack happened in American Werewolf in London took place. Yeah, London was a very different place back then. It was grim. I first moved here in the 80s and it looked a lot more like that than it does today. But it also had its charm because the population was a lot smaller then. It still had a bit of quaintness. Whereas today, I would say it's a lot more like any other big city anywhere in the world. All of the global megacities have so much in common nowadays that you can easily mistake one for another. So I'm going to carry on walking from Piccadilly Circus here into Soho. But to pick up on what I was saying, yes, there is a terrible negative side to this new siloing we're seeing. But there's also positive because a lot of us are going to be finally left alone. And I have to say, well, let me just turn the camera back around. But I have to say, as much as it feels regressive, perhaps this siloing is actually a closer reflection of the real world. Because think about it, in real life, you choose your friends. You don't hang around with people who you despise, right? And if you don't like somebody's views, you tend not to talk to them anymore. And social media, on the other hand, throws us all together. So maybe this is how it's always been. Have we always been siloed in the real world? And perhaps the digital world is now catching up with that, and they've finally been able to create systems that allow us to form those same silos digitally that we would have formed physically. So now I'm on Brewer Street, which back in the day used to be one of the seedier streets of London, where there were a load of adult shops. And nowadays, most of that is gone and replaced by designer clothing shops. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments what you think of Bluesky and the siloing of our society into left and right echo chambers. And do give this video a like. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. It makes a huge difference. Thank you.